Hey, so if you're curious on how an audiobook is made, this is a clip of what I do. I'm in my booth right now, and I actually have the privilege of narrating a chapter of a book that I was asked to contribute to as a writer to provide a case study, a testimony. So I'm narrating for a gentleman who I've actually done 4 books for this year. Great guy who he's just a coach through and through, loves to empower people. And so this is a book that he has written on entrepreneurship, especially for young people. And so I've given a little bit of my own testimony as an entrepreneur. I'm obviously one now as a voiceover artist, but my first career was a musician where I was an entrepreneur. So anyway, I'm going to read part of that, and you can see even I'll flub on a word. I'll have to go back, and you'll see the joys of producing an audiobook with raw audio form. Nothing is cleaned up yet. So I always give a little bit of a lead in just to get going. So you could see that as well, but this will be cut out of the actual book that you could purchase on Audible. Hey everyone, I just want to welcome you into Chapter 8, Making the Most of Limited Resources. Case study, Vinnie Angelo, voiceover artist. I'm Vinnie Angelo, and if you're listening to this as an audiobook, I'm actually the narrator, as I've been fortunate to serve as the narrator for many of Tim's books. I'm currently 46 years old. I've spent the majority of my life working as an entrepreneur, but only recently have I launched my entrepreneurial career as a voice actor. As a young teen, I began playing the drums and quickly developed a passion for music. While in high school, I was fortunate to make money as a performer and a drum teacher. As I developed my musical skills in college, I spent the next 10 years working as a full-time professional musician. In the actual practicing of my craft, I did very well. I was accomplished and was blessed to do amazing things as a musician. However, the problem with being an entrepreneur is that I was not only practicing my craft, but I also had to be business-minded. Business-minded was something I was not. The one major struggle that I've not only seen with myself, but also one that I've witnessed in other entrepreneurs, is overcoming the business and administrative side of our service. This is especially true for those who provide a service that was once a hobby, like the arts. Think about it. We are trying to make a living doing something that we love and are passionate about. We're pursuing a career that we would do for free. This has become the downfall for so many gifted entrepreneurs, as they literally can't afford to offer their service anymore because they've ignored, or at best, minimized the business side of their work. In my situation, I was a teenager who loved playing drums, and so I continued practicing and pursuing this passion, spending 5 to 12 hours a day playing drums. Drums consumed me. They were an obsession. So when I got to the point of being able to make money doing it, I just saw that as an added bonus. I was getting paid to do something I would do for free. This created 2 problems for me. I viewed money earned from music almost as a bonus, and I wasn't doing anything to become a businessman. I largely ignored business administration and never put myself in a position for long-term or even short-term stability. I had no process for accounting, no system to track anything, and no long-term goals or objectives business-wise. I just wanted to play music. And so I lived hand to mouth, or gig to gig. This meant I had zero financial cushion when a job would cancel or during a lean season for booking gigs. I had no money in reserves, which meant I went into debt. Forget about ever trying to take a vacation or even just take a day off. And God forbid getting sick. I couldn't afford to cancel teaching a private lesson or performing at a gig, which probably meant I got other people sick, or that my performance was subpar. Neither of which is good for business. As someone who began a new entrepreneurial venture in my 40s as a voice actor, I recognized that I didn't want to repeat past mistakes. And so I reflected on my younger experience as a musician. I immediately made sure to make the administrative tasks a daily part of my business. I not only needed to have goals as a performing voice actor, but I also needed to account for my money, track invoices, budget for the future, be deliberate in my customer relations, save for taxes and retirement, and so on. Actually, I put a pretty good reading streak, but you got to hydrate. Our stuff's going to get weird. So now I'm picking it up right there. I share this story to encourage those people who are pursuing an entrepreneurial experience that involves something that might be a passion. Be able to make your hobby your see right there. Being able to make your hobby your career is such a fulfilling experience. However, it can also be an extreme challenge. I've had many friends who have had to give up their entrepreneurial pursuits because of poor. Get up right there. Because of poor business management. If this is speaking to you, I encourage you to take a personal inventory. What are your strengths and weaknesses? It's obviously always great to know where we excel in life, but it's equally, if not more important, to identify and improve our weaknesses. What are the skills and competencies that you need to develop in order to have a successful, let's do that a little cleaner. After lunch narrating, sometimes you get the burps. What are the skills and competencies that you need to develop in order to have a successful and sustained career doing the things you love to do? Identify the outcomes you want to achieve, and then create the strategic steps to get there. As a 46-year-old man who has spent the majority of my life as an entrepreneur and who has had to learn the hard way from countless mistakes, I really wish I had a resource like this when I was starting out as a self-employed teenager. Let's end the recording. So there you go. That is, obviously I'm the author, so I was able to get through that pretty quickly. When you narrate, you just stop if you mess something up and you pick up at a logical place. It could be at the start of the sentence, maybe mid-phrase, if you can make that work. It just kind of, there's a way, it's called punch and roll in the recording software. It backs up a few seconds and then it starts recording at a certain spot. So that's what I do. Also, you might not know this. I don't know if you could tell on the camera. No, I'm glistening. Recording booths get hot. We can't have a fan on right now because that would interfere with the sound. And so I'll tell you this. The next time you're cozying up and it's Christmas time and you're on the couch drinking coffee and listening to an audiobook, just know that that book might have been recorded in the summertime when it was hot and the narrator's probably sweating profusely. That's probably happening. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me in my booth. Hopefully that was an interesting experience to watch how a audiobook is made and from a production standpoint. And I'll see you guys later.